And this bill is very good because it makes the cost of transformers to the consumers and therefore the cost of power to the consumers cheaper. You know, brings the cost of our energy delivery lower. But Opio and I and team and the people in trade and industry must also work on the incentives for local manufacture of these transformers, encouraging the current assembly to go all the way to manufacture. Because manufacture is not a destination you arrive at. It is a journey you make through intermediate manufacturing steps. So if that can be worked out, because I think there are 6-7 companies already who are doing some level of assembly towards manufacture. We must not discourage them.
And they're very serious.
And they're very serious.
Yeah.
And they must be given preferential treatment so that, because they are hiring local Kenyans, they are using local materials, and it is very necessary for us to support them. So I think that is, and Parliament should also be aligned with making sure that they also support investment in the country. Because if we don't encourage manufacturers, you know, manufacturing as a percentage of our GDP is going down. So we must be sensitive to it. And this bill is very good because it makes the cost of transformers to the consumers and therefore the cost of power to the consumers cheaper. You know, brings the cost of our energy delivery lower. But Opio and I and team and the people in trade and industry must also work on the incentives for local manufacture of these transformers, encouraging the current assembly to go all the way to manufacture. Because manufacture is not a destination you arrive at. It is a journey you make through intermediate manufacturing steps. So if that can be worked out, because I think there are 6-7 companies already who are doing some level of assembly towards manufacture. We must not discourage them.
And they're very serious.
And they're very serious. And they must be given preferential treatment so that, because they are hiring local Kenyans, they are using local materials, and it is very necessary for us to support them. So I think that is, and Parliament should also be aligned with making sure that they also support investment in the country. Because if we don't encourage manufacturers, you know, manufacturing as a percentage of our GDP is going down. So we must be sensitive to it.
Key to this, Governor, that you need to note, for us to be able to get these two grants, then there are certain things that we must do. We say this is performance for results. How performance for results works is you achieve the results, then we reimburse. We don't reimburse shilling for a shilling. So you may use your 10 million to achieve the results, then we give you 100 million. You not come and count that you use 10 million. But key is then you need to achieve the results for you to receive this. Then that calls for this counterpart funding. If we don't have counterpart funding, then there is a problem because at the end of the day, the teams will not be able to achieve the results. During the discussion, as I was presenting, I learned that your team also doesn't have sufficient counterpart funding. It's an issue that you may need to address. The speaker confirmed that they have allocated today 10 million, but still to me, 10 million may not be sufficient to do activities to achieve 390 million. At the end of the day, the total that we expect the county to get annually, this year you get at 7.5. But next year, if you achieve the results, all the results, we expect you to get around 390 million. All of us do business. You cannot do an investment of 10 million and get the returns of 390 million unless if you are doing unusual businesses. But if you're doing if you are doing a legal business, that is practically impossible. So even with the improvement to 10 million, it might not be sufficient. So your team, you being the lead, you may need to reconsider that, and especially going to the next financial year, and make sure that this team is well facilitated, so that not only we can achieve the results, but we are able also to get resources to be able to do the project that we want to do. One thing I may want to point out at this point is that as much as we are saying we have these levels and we are giving grants, we are not asking the county to do anything that the county is not supposed to do. We're just asking the county to do what they're supposed to be doing, then we motivate them. So we are asking the counties, can you do proper revenue forecasting? The county is still supposed to do revenue forecasting. And then we come in and even tell you, we have developed the revenue forecasting guidance for you. Because, for example, for revenue forecasting, we have already facilitated the National Treasury to do we've already facilitated the Commission for Revenue Allocation, CRI, to do the guidelines. And we bring the guidelines to you. Then we tell you now, do the forecasting. So, and then this is something that you're already supposed to be doing. And once you do it, then we give you money for doing that. So ideally, it's just a win-win to the county. Even whatever we are calling investment, it's actually not an investment, because ideally you're still supposed to be doing that. So it's not like there's any resources we are spending, because you should have spent it anyway. So that is on the counter funding. Now, for the level 1 that I just mentioned, these are the minimum conditions. They need to be met for the county to receive the 7.5. For this first year, we went up to here because we wanted to give counties time to settle down. So we were only looking at the signed participation agreement, work plans, the approved work plans, cash plans and budgets, and then implementation arrangement. That is basically what we checked during this assessment. And of course, we are happy to also inform you that FOMET met this very well. And it is only the processes, other processes that are not the county-based, that we need to clear for you to receive the money. Of course, you must be aware that the CGAP needs to be passed for us to be able to release these funds.
Minimum percentage that the county can match, given that budgeting process is a very detailed expectation. Thank you.
Already the CLSP has been done. Maybe the main budget is maybe made.
It's P1. You are supposed to achieve the result, and then you are reversed. Although wait for me, they have given us some 2 minutes.
Just some for information, the performance.
Public service and also PSC will still part as COG.
We have apologies from the clerk and also the CEO Public Service. So my colleague CEOs.
Program coordination with the national team. I am the coordinator, and then I have representatives from the Great Kings just to make sure that but one of the key gaps we noted here is that there is a lot of participation, for example, when it comes to budgeting and planning, but very little participation when it comes to project implementation. And that's why a lot of institutional strengthening. Institutional strengthening is something to be able to achieve their objectives. But then we have the investment level. The investment, this one, I'm going to take some time on this. At the county level,
And if it is the usual business that we do, then we have to be more innovative so that we can earn more marks and ensure that we have complied with all those conditions so that we can reap maximally from this grant. So if we miss out, then we have ourselves to blame. Daktari, I want to assure you that unless people have started misbehaving, but from, you can see even the facial expression, I can see a lot of commitment. Not unless you changed last night and you're presenting a very deceptive expressions in your faces. But from where I sit and how I've known the majority of you, with that commitment and the support from the respective staff from all the departments, because all of us have to work as a team. Because if HR, for example, will not do well, then it will affect all of us. Also, the revenue led by Dr. Rono is still new and trying to learn the ropes. If you don't succeed in ensuring that we achieve at least 5%
over and above the rate of inflation.
Yes. And remember underlying inflation. So you can have 5%, but when we analyze it comes down to 3%. So to be on a safer side, I think we need to have 10%. So that when you factor in the issue of inflation, then we'll be well above the 5% that has been mentioned. So if you don't do very well in your area, then all of us will have failed. But the challenge is for Dr. Rono to succeed, all the departments have to participate. For example, we have revenue generated by the Department of Lands. We have revenue that is being generated by the Department of Agriculture. We have revenue that is being generated by the Department of Health. So at the end of the day, it may not be him alone, because the department will have let down Mr. Rono or Dr. Rono in ensuring that we collect revenue that will reflect and capture and ensure that we comply with the conditions that we have been given. So just to emphasize the fact that all of us have to work collectively with the support of the Assembly so that we can meet all the conditions. I'm very confident that we'll be able to do that. Thank you again, Daktari. I'm happy that we have good news. The first step, Adol, we've been able to succeed. Of course, the 47 counties are now going for round 2. You have my support. That one I want to assure you. But I will be disappointed if you don't do your part. Whatever you require from me, because I'm chairing one of the steering committee, but there are those details where you feel that you are stuck and you require the intervention of the governor. Don't shy away in getting that information or calling for that support from me directly, so that we do. Because if we lose, all the residents of Bomet have lost. So please, when you are stuck, we have people who can intervene. We have the Assembly that can also clear the way for us in case there are issues that need the support of the Assembly. So, and they are very supportive. They have never let us down. Our Assembly is very supportive. Very, very, very supportive. So every time there are issues and that needs to be sorted by them, they have been very prompt in doing